Today I wanted to talk about the meaning behind my art. I want to share with you some of the things that I think about before and during my creative process. But before I go into my current work, I want to give a brief history of the conceptual side of my art. Up until art school, I mostly worked really hard at improving my technique and drawing as realistically as possible. I did care about making something that was unique and that elicited some sort of reaction from the viewer. So I played around with lighting and color, composition, perspective, all of these things to create some sort of mood. Then in art school, we really had to make art that was about something. And we were taught that every decision that we make in a piece of art has to be driven by that concept. So a lot of my art in art school and after was about me. I was figuring myself out, learning who I was, and my art helped to explain to me certain things that I wasn't so ready to confront myself very easily. So I was just learning about myself through life and through my own art. And then my thesis piece was a series of sketchbooks, and it ended with a series of drawings that were about those nagging truths and thoughts that are going on back there that you don't want to listen to because they're too hard to deal with, and so you replace them with all those daily thoughts that are going on, but they never go away. They always keep on coming back up. And the funny thing is that I knew that my art was about denial. I knew that it was about my denial, and yet I refused to deal with that issue for as long as humanly possible. And this is kind of the climax to that piece that I did shortly after graduation. As many of you know, after I graduated, I moved down here to Panama City and I took over the gallery above. And out of the gallery came my octopus series. I won't go too into that, but the octopus represented me and it represented the gallery. There was very little separation between the two for quite a while there. And again, it was revealing things that were going on inside of my head, the struggles that I was going through, moments of being overworked, overwhelmed, and overtired, even though the whole time I absolutely loved what I was doing. But it was overwhelming sometimes. So then there came a point in which I was very self-aware, confident, and had worked through a lot of my personal issues, who I was, who I wanted to be, how to be happy, and how to balance work, life, and art. So it was decision time. What do I make my art about? It's a very daunting question. And there's so many different issues that I could have made my art about, but I decided to make it about the global issue, our home, the earth. True, there's so many different cultural issues I could have made my art about, but none of them are really going to matter if we destroy our home. So that is when I started my Ecocide Series, and I'd like to share with you some of the things that I have been researching and thinking about when I made that shift from art about myself to art about the environment. In the year 1800, there were only 900 million people. In 1900, there was just over 1.5 billion. Now in 2013, we have over 7 billion people on what we have made into a very finite planet with finite resources. As many as 140 species go extinct every day because of humans. Just 10,000 years ago, there was one group of humans that began what's known as totalitarian agriculture in which they wanted total control over all of the food that they ate and worked many more hours in the day to have that control. And that group of humans, that decision is what has led to our current culture. And I think that that group of humans made a really huge mistake when they naively decided to control the natural world because for some reason they felt that it was theirs to do with as they pleased. A Native American chief, Chief Seattle, said, "The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth." I fully believe that, and I believe that no human is any better than any other animal, plant, fungus, mountain, or any other natural thing on this earth. John A. Livingston compared our society to a sociopath. It's not that a sociopath doesn't care about the emotions of other people, it's just that they don't quite register that they exist. And so I think our society has become sociopathic. It's not that many of us don't care about the state of other animals and plants, it's that we have lost the ability to feel or comprehend the state of our surroundings. The students of Confucius asked him once, after they'd been with him for several years, if he could reduce his teachings to something very simple. And he said, "I can reduce it all to one word: reciprocity. If you take, you must give. Nothing is received unless there is a giving." That's where we go wrong. We take from the soil without giving something back to it. It gives us nourishment, and we give it poisons. Everything needs to move in a circle of mutual influences, a giving and a taking. If we break that circle, everything dies. It's basically the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, applied to all life. Jonas Salk said, "If all the insects on Earth disappeared within 50 years, all life on Earth would disappear. If all humans disappeared within 50 years, all species would flourish as never before." A Greek proverb said, "A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in." So with all of these thoughts swarming around in my head, I started my Ecocide series. Ecocide means destruction of the environment. And in each piece is a woman interacting with nature. At first it's perhaps a pleasing image, but as you look closer, in each piece is dying plants, and in every piece is a dead animal. So it reveals itself to be someone who has ripped pieces of the environment out of their natural habitat for vanity. So I was creating art showing what we were doing wrong. And at some point I decided I wanted to depict what could be right. People seem to respond better to a message stated in the positive rather than the negative. Many of us know the atrocities our lifestyles have created, but I don't think enough attention is paid to how beautiful things could be if we started to live symbiotically with our environment again. Most of us don't know what we're missing. It's beauty. It's being in love with the forests and the rains, other animals, and all other healthy life around us. That love will inspire us to have the imagination, the creativity, and the courage to do something about it. The title of this exhibit is "Cut It Out," which is of course a little joke about cutting paper. But cut it out also means cut out living in a way that is selfish, sociopathic, short-sighted, and isolated. Start living in an embracing of our home, the earth. A lot of people think to live in an eco-friendly way consists of a lot of sacrifices, but really it's the opposite. I feel much more fulfilled the less I take and the more I give back to my mother, the earth. It's more than just composting or line drying your clothes, which are very helpful, but it's allowing yourself to feel deeper, feel the world around you, and develop a relationship with your surroundings. Be in awe of the world. Once you allow yourself to develop that relationship, there comes a sense of belonging, gratitude, and wholeness. Allow yourself to fall in love with nature and ourselves. To destroy our planet, we slowly destroy ourselves, and that is a great sacrifice. But if we rediscover our belonging in the world, we will want to save it, and we will be saving ourselves and the future generations of many species. Art is the language of awe. My latest paper cuts depict nature blending in with humans. There's less of a separation. We often think of humans versus nature, but really that makes no sense. We are nature. The moment we start to think any different, not only might we start destroying our planet, but we lose a beautiful connection that all humans once knew and a few people, a few indigenous tribes left still have. It's time we start to listen to the land. In my latest works, I am expressing my awe of all things natural to this world, and I try to recreate that symbiotic relationship, that deep connection and intertwining between ourselves and our natural world.